Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. I say this every show, but tonight is even additionally special. I am so excited. I have goosebumps poking through this jacket. I'd give you a close-up if I could. It's a reuniting that has been too long in the making. I'm so excited to bring on this special guest expert. You have no idea the value this man brings every single time over the past decade that I've known him is just over the top. Always brings the value, and can't wait for you to meet him. And we're going to do that in just a moment. Before we get started, though, for those of you that have not heard of the Mind Body Business Show, just want to give you a quick overview. Mind, body, business. What is that all about? Well, there are 3 pillars to success that I have found in my now 54 years on this planet of patterns of successful people. And most successful people have mastered all 3. And the first would be mind. In other words, mindset. They have a very positive, like champion mindset and can get through the hard times. I'm going to go more abbreviated tonight than normal because I want to get our guest on this show. Body. Successful people take care of themselves. They eat the proper food and they exercise, and they are at the top of their game in body. And business. Business is multifaceted. There's sales, there's marketing, there's team building, there's scaling. There are so many facets. If you were to master just one of these 3 pillars, then your business and your personal life would skyrocket. I kid you not. Mastery, though, it takes time. It takes repetition. It takes experience. And that's what our guest expert has. Definitely a multitude of experiences in his life that have led him to super success that you're going to find out about here in just a moment. So what I like to say is it's like a tripod. Mind, body, business. Each one of those is a leg. If you kick out one of those legs, what happens to that tripod? It all comes tumbling down. Now, I'm not here to say that you must have mastered all 3, but what if you were in the process of mastering at least one to start and then move on to the next and then the next? If you're in the process, you're on the right track. And that's what this show is all about. It's about bringing on guest experts like our man, Tom Antion, who's coming on very soon, to bring in, he is the man in 2 specific areas, mind and business, no doubt. This guy has crushed it. And is super successful, and I can't wait for you to meet him. And that reminds me of success. Looking back behind me, it reminds me of that, and that is many years ago. I remember being flown out to the East Coast to strike up a deal, to sign a contract with a gentleman. He was a CEO of an infomercial company, crushing it, a multimillionaire. He had a corner office, of course. Had me flown out there, picked me up in a limo, put me in a hotel, all at their expense, and I met with him for 2 days in his office, and it was amazing experience. And there was at one point where I'm sitting in his couch in his office, not his house, his office, and he's talking to me, and he's standing, and I'm sitting, and he's looking right at me, and he says, Brian, if people only knew, if they only knew, if they just did this one thing, they'd all be super rich. And so by now I'm leaning in. It's like, okay, what is it? And so he turns around coyly and walks to the opposite wall. And there is a ceiling to floor 2-door cabinet. And he goes and he grabs both handles, looking back, and spreads them open, opens them wide, and he reveals something very similar to what you see right behind me. And that was shelf after shelf after shelf of books. And we're not talking just any books. We're talking about business books, about personal development books, about fitness books, about mindset books, you name it. Anything to get him to that next level of success, it was on his bookshelf. And I made a crucial error at that moment. I decided to discount that advice. In fact, I ignored it. Because to me, I'm thinking I could go to the library and check out all these books for free. So there's no skin in the game. It can't be that easy. That's what's going through my mind. And I decided to discount that completely. And so, thankfully, many years later, I ran into another gentleman who would become my mentor. Many years my junior, literally could have been my son by age. Brilliant young man. And I ended up working with him in his company for years. Spoke on his stage for several years. And at one point I'm in his house and he's walking around wearing headphones. And I said, hey man, what are you doing? He's like, oh, what? Oh, yeah, I'm listening to a book. And I thought, wait, what? You're listening to a book? I haven't heard of this before. This was a little while ago. I'm like, tell me more about that. And so he said, yeah, man, it's this app called Audible that I use, and I download them, and I listen to books. I said, oh, my gosh, I got to try that. Because personally, me, opening a book and reading it physically on paper, I get really tired. I get fatigued, and I can't stay with it that long, and my attention span goes with it. And so I started listening, and I said, this is awesome. And I became a voracious reader as a result. And now, finally, full circled back to the very advice that I should have taken many years ago. I'm not here to cry over spilled milk. I'm just happy with all the experiences that happened in my life in the exact order they did. The beautiful thing is I was introduced to this amazing concept called reading. And in so doing, Audible, you can tap on the screen at any point while you're listening, and it instantly stores a bookmark. And I thought, this is genius, because how many of you out there listening have ever read the same book more than once? And I'm sure just about everybody's hand is going up. Well, what if you could just zoom straight to those moments of interest and save yourself an extra hour and a half to 2 hours of listening or reading by going to these bookmarks? So that's what I started doing. And what I want to do with you right now is share one such bookmark in a segment I appropriately named, well, bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, there it is. And for those of you watching and listening, be sure to take notes. Do not go to these resources while you're watching the show. You do not want to miss Tom. That's why. And he's coming on very soon, I promise. I kid you not. And what we're going to do is quickly go through reachyourpeaklibrary.com. What is that? It's a resource I built literally for you. For you. It's my gift to you. And what it is a compilation of those books that I've listened to over the recent years. And there are around 40 on this list. I'm falling way behind. There's a lot more that I've listened to that are not on this list. There you see them scrolling up now. And I give you a link to go purchase them. This is not for me to make money. It is for you to be able to filter out books quicker and know that these have at least been vetted by one successful entrepreneur. At least that way you're not, just throwing darts at a dartboard and hoping it sticks in the right area that's going to be good for you. So every book I've ever read is not on here. These are only those that have had impact on me. And what I want to do is segue over into one specific bookmark on one of these books because it's so appropriate for the gentleman you are about to meet. And that book is Everyday Millionaires by Chris Hogan. And what I would like for you to do right now is take out a notepad and a pen of paper, and a notepad and a pen of paper, a pad of paper and a pen, and take some notes throughout this point forward, and take notes vigorously because everything from now on is going to be super, super high value. So go ahead, take a quick listen. It's just over a minute in length. This is Chris Hogan once again in Everyday Millionaires.
The idea, the notion that wealthy people are simply lucky lottery winners, married into money, or have some genetic advantage that normal people don't have, is a myth. And it's one of those that will keep you from ever becoming a millionaire yourself if you believe it. Waiting for lightning to strike. The myth that millionaires are simply lucky takes a lot of different forms, but they all come down to one main idea: obtaining wealth is random. People view wealth like lightning strikes, as though they have no control over when and where the $1,000,000 lightning bolt will strike next. They say things like, only special people strike it rich, not me. They think the only way to build wealth from nothing is to marry into money or invent the next iPhone. Since wealth is random, they see the lottery as a valid strategy. Hey, if building wealth is simply a game of chance, why not? Even if they don't play Powerball or Mega Millions, they may believe that wealth comes down to a DNA lottery, a random mix of intellectual or physical advantages that enables only some people to become famous actors, athletes, models, or inventors. I think that every one of these things is an excuse.
Powerful, powerful. How many people do you know that rely on the lottery as a strategy to become a millionaire? There are many. I've met many myself. And the cool thing is we have a bona fide multi-millionaire waiting in the wings. He's chomping at the bit to get on this show so he can speak his piece, and I can't wait for him to come on as well. So let's do that, shall we? Let's bring on the one and only Tom Antion. Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Tom Antion. Yes.
Hey, Brian, how you doing, man?
Oh, man, I am doing really good now that we are reunited, and it feels so good.
Well, wait a minute. One second, though. I noticed when earlier you said, okay, Tom's got the mind and the business, and you specifically ignored the body. I got plenty of body to go around for everybody.
You've got a rockin' body, buddy.
I got extra for everybody.
Well, you know what, though? In all seriousness, you are an avid tennis player, and we were talking before you went down to injury recently that's kept you from doing that. So you've got that going. It's exercise. It's exercise.
You know, I lost 100 pounds since the last time you saw me, and that's not a joke that I lost a girlfriend. I've been on a ketogenic lifestyle, so I had low carb stuff, and
Excellent.
So that's the only thing that's ever worked for me.
Congratulations and excellent. I'm so glad to hear that because, even though I love it when there's more of time to go around, I don't mean that physically. So real quick, I'm going to intro you properly here, Tom, but before I do, I want to remind our guests that are watching live, especially those that are watching live, that stay tuned to the very end so that you can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star Mexican resort. Compliments of my good friend Jason Nast and his incredible company called powertexting.com. And so stay on to the end. And it's not one of those things where you go and sit and watch a timeshare. Trust me, and I guarantee it, because the owner of the company has tested it himself and went and took his daughter and said it was amazing. So stay on. And I hear there's a little whisper in my ear saying that Tom might actually also have a gift for you as well.
It's very possible.
And I'm going to pile on because I can't be outdone. I'm going to add one more to it. I'm sure it's nowhere close to what Tom's offering, but I gotta give. So, Tom Antion, the man right here. This guy has never had a job. Never had a job. He's an internet multi-millionaire. He's like the guy next door, and founder of the only licensed, dedicated internet marketing school in the country. This is amazing. He's the subject also of a Hollywood documentary called The American Entrepreneur, premiering later this year. And now that just opened up a can of worms of so many, oh my gosh, I don't know if we have enough time to go through everything because there's so much I want to catch up with you, Tom. It's been a long time since we've talked, my friend. I wanted to go a little deeper, if you don't mind.
But one thing before you get started, that luckily I know you and know that you're a good guy, because this trip to Mexico worries me. Because you could only make the winner somebody you don't like and then ship them to Mexico. They're never going to come back. So I don't think that's going to happen in this case.
That would be like reverse marketing. I love it. No, it's not the case in this case, or I would pull that offer from the table in a heartbeat. Thank you, though. And this is one thing I got to share with everybody I love about Tom is he has an infectious sense of humor. I love it. And he's so authentic and integrity-based, and that's on a serious note, that, the humor is just always on spot. And the guy is so freaking talented in so many ways. He's also a professional speaker and has been all over the world. I'll let Tom go through this a little bit more, but I just want to let people know they have an unbelievably amazing individual in front of them right now. So definitely take notes. Get active on Facebook. Say hi to Tom so that he can then look you up later. And we'll give you a way to look up Tom at the end. But now, so what I wanted to do is find out a little bit more, go deeper, Tom, as much as you're willing to go, to find out so people can get to know you a little bit more. And in that light, like you are super, super successful in most people's eyes. There might be some that might say, well, I don't think he's that successful, but that'd be like Richard Branson, I think. So you've already reached a super high pinnacle of success in most the planet's eyes. What continues to get you going? Like when your feet hit the floor, when you wake up in the morning, what is it that's going through your mind that says, I'm ready to tackle and take on a new day versus, well, I can just go back to bed and sleep for another 2 hours. And then if you don't mind adding on to that, please let us know, and me as well, what latest projects you're working on.
Okay, so the absolute first motivation when I get up in the morning is to make sure my dogs don't pee on the floor. So I got to get them out the door. That's the number one. You got to have priorities in your life, right? So that's number one. Number two, which is carried with me most of my life, is a Japanese principle called Kaizen, which is continuous improvement. So that's exactly what's going through my mind: getting my shower, getting the dogs out, taking care of them, and then getting busy taking care of customers. But it's always involved is continuous improvement. In fact, we have 2 weekly meetings with my staff by Skype, and at the end of each person telling what they're accomplishing, they have to tell something personal that they are improving on. So it's everything with me and everybody around me. Has to be part of the deal. If you're not moving forward, you're moving back. So that's pretty much it, is continuous improvement.
That's powerful. That's powerful. I love that, how you get them into the personal space and get them in the habit of doing the very same thing that has helped you to become so successful. Why not? I mean, have your own. So you're basically injecting a culture into their lives of your business model at the same time.
Yeah, and a lot of them have been with me for many, many years, but I don't necessarily encourage that. I encourage them to keep growing, and if they want to take off on their own, they've got all the tools that they learned while they were working for me. I don't know if you remember Ilya Posen was my original geek in 1997, and he's a millionaire in Los Angeles. He probably doesn't live far from you. He's involved in Pluto.tv, and he had Cyplex, a major web design firm there, and he started with me in high school.
Wow.
So I'm always wanting to see people grow. If they're not, I'm kind of wondering, why, what's their life like if they're just cruising? I always want improvement.
There's a lesson right there, Tom, for so many people who are working with people, either they're apprentices or VAs or employees. That's a huge lesson, to teach them to be able to spread their wings and not worry about them leaving. Give them the tools so they can leave, and you can just repeat the process with another person who has the talents they did.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a hassle on me with retraining and starting over, but the thing is I make deals with them. I've trained them, and we go on and on and on for lifelong associates and friends after they leave, and so it's when you try to hold people down, they're going to resent you in the long run, and you're probably not going to get the most productivity out of them anyway. So, and this isn't an atmosphere in the world that people are waiting for their gold watch after 20 years. So my deal is, we help each other as we're together, and then we go our separate ways, and we're still friends.
I love that.
And they're way ahead of the game because of me. So I like that.
I think that's a model for success for any company, no matter what size, no matter how many people you have. I love that. In fact, I'm using a similar approach with apprentices that I've been working with, and it just does nothing but give you better results, period, from every angle. And
Brian, I love to give tips, actionable tips for people out there. So this brings up one right now, is my hiring practices. And, you don't want to age discriminate, but I really, as a tech business, internet marketing business, don't want a 55-year-old MBA that had secretaries and can't really do anything. I want a young tech-savvy kid. So I make ads for Craigslist that are kind of mean a little bit, but the main title of it is what I want everybody to write down: paid internship. Paid internship. Because nobody that's super overqualified and older and not tech savvy is going to apply for an internship. So you can get only young people, and you don't get in the situation of offending people. And probably what I'm saying now is offending some people that are in the older age groups. But there's no longer acceptable for people in our age group to say, "Oh, well, I'm not technical." No, that's you know, that doesn't count anymore. You got to get technical and be able to operate your darn cell phone. And I saw a cartoon once where this kid went up to his dad in his house, and he said, "Hey, Dad, if you increase my allowance, I'll give you unlimited in-house tech support." That's the way it is with these kids nowadays. So, and I teach people how to recruit young people out of high school. I like high school best because they don't have as much drinking going on and parties and sororities, and they're thrilled to death that they're not flipping burgers or cutting grass. They're doing the stuff they love on computers. So that just, when I recruited my first kid in 1997, my God, he stood behind me and watched me on my computer, and he's ready to explode. He's like, "How can somebody making so much money be so stupid? Just click here." And he was always right. And so I just shut up and I took it. Now I'm screamingly fast on the computer because of this kid. You know. So the bottom line is recruit young people, and your business can really take off, because they'll get something done in 2 minutes. It'll take you 2 months if you ever figured it out. So that's an important tip to get the young people involved with.
Totally agree. I use a resource for acquiring apprentices that are typically in college or recently graduated college. So they're younger, but they also have a little bit of life experience. They might have been doing the drinking and stuff like that, but I do a lot of pre-enrollment or pre-hiring, if you will, questions to make sure that at least it looks on the surface that this is going to be a fit. And so far, it's been successful. And
yeah, I use both. I use Craigslist to get the a little bit older people, and I use a blue collar high school. I don't go to a fancy, because they got more money than I do. So, so they don't need me. I want to go to a blue collar high school. And, and you can't go down. By the way, this is another good tip. Don't just go down to the high school and say, "Hey, I'd like to have some kids." That doesn't work. The policeman told me that's not the best idea. You got to call up ahead of time and make an appointment with the guidance counselor.
I could see Tom at the chain link fence looking in. I know. "Hey, come here. I got something for you.
I got a little lollipop here."
Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
Or an iPad. I got an iPad here.
Oh wow. Well, hey, you know what we didn't get to is I want to know too is you have been doing so many things, and I follow you, but what is the latest thing that you're working on now that you're really passionate about that you want people to know about?
Well, the latest thing is, and first of all, I mean, when people see my resume, it looks like BS, because I never had a job, and you can live like 2 or 3 lives if you aren't commuting to work, and still with your Audible, you can make it a traveling university, and you can use your cell phone to record things that will end up in books and your videos and other products. So don't waste that, what we call throwaway time. Sure. But the latest thing that I'm working on, it's never just one, Brian. So I'll just give you a couple of them. But you saw what I was doing on Roku TV, which is a on-demand TV service, and people like us can put channels up now. That's a little bit geeky, and you're really good at geek stuff. I had to scratch and crawl and figure it out, but in my terrible topic of public speaking, which most people hate, 1,200 people signed up for my channel the first day. That blows YouTube, and I love YouTube for certain things, for sure. But 1,200 people in the first day signed up, and there's 1,800 people in the first couple of weeks for a terrible topic like public speaking on TV. All right, so we're coming out with other channels. I have a protection dog company. So dogs are really big. Some people that put dog channels up are getting 8, 9, 10,000 people to sign up for their channel in the first week. I mean, so wow. This is really powerful. And then we took the same stuff and took it over to Amazon Fire, which is another kind of, little technical stuff you got to work through. But once you get through it, like I'm sitting here and I haven't looked at the channel for a week, and thousands of people are watching many hours of my stuff, and they're starting to buy stuff. So it's a whole new market of people that I never reached with email, which has been my primary source for over 24 years. So that's the latest thing we're doing. We're also doing chat bots. Like if you go to my Facebook page, that's Antion and Associates, and you click message, you'll meet my little chat bot, Screwy. he's my little buddy, and he'll you ask him questions, and he answers them, and ask you, hey, do you want to look at this? Do you want to look at that? And if he can't figure it out, he sends the message to me, and then I answer you. So that's why we usually get an instantaneous feedback rating for answering questions on our business page, because Screwy is there 24/7 doing it. So you can have a lot of fun with it. I don't pretend that it's really me. I have my little character Screwy, and he's helping you out immediately. So chatbots are going crazy. And here's another tip for you, folks. The course that I took on chatbots, they could have easily charged $2,000. It was one of the most comprehensive, massively great courses for free.
Wow.
And I happen to use a service called ManyChat. Yep. And it's the pro version is $10 a month, and you have a free version, but they give you this course by two luminaries that, I mean, it's probably a 20-hour course, and it's free. So
Wow.
There's another good tip for you if you want to get into chatbots. And other than the $10 a month for the pro version of ManyChat, it's just a little bit of elbow grease to make this happen, and maybe you have a little character made up. I already had the character from my Screw the Commute, which is my little Screwy guy, pounding on cars in the freeway. All right. So I just named him Screwy, put him on as the chat bot, and people get taken care of instantly from me instead of hoping someday somebody will answer something.
Wow. You've been a busy guy.
Well,
as usual.
Those are just the fraction of the things we do around here all the time.
It's interesting you brought up Roku, because I remember it was just a couple days ago, I think, that you actually did a live webinar about that.
Yeah, I was telling people about the opportunity. I didn't have anything for sale other than I offered to help make the channels for them. But it took me about 4 or 5 months of looking at the forums and asking questions to figure it out, because I'm not that technical. But you can do it, or you can get people to help you to do it. But it's a really powerful new medium, and people are quitting their cable now, because for $40 you can get a Roku box and have thousands of channels out there. I mean, I binge watched The Equalizer 88 episodes from the 80s.
Yeah, it's really cool. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Roku, think of Netflix, if you can think of that. It's a streaming through your internet connection, like your own home connection or office service. In this case, Roku and Amazon Fire both are literally like sticks, like USB sticks, but they are a different connector that goes into your TV. And literally it connects over your wireless internet in your home, and you control it as if you're sitting in front of your TV with a remote. And you now, because of the way Tom is describing, you can have your own channel on television because of Roku and Amazon Fire. And there are more than those coming out. The cool thing is,
with Roku, you might even buy a Roku TV and don't even have to buy the extra box. If you're in the market for a new TV and you think you might want to do this, get a Roku TV, and it still has all the other functions, but it's already pre-ready for Roku.
Yeah, and the timing couldn't have been more awesome, Tom, because a close friend, we both know him, told me about, we had talked about Roku almost a decade ago when it was in its infancy, whenever it was just coming out. And I went and looked into it. He goes, hey, man, you're a tech guy. You can figure this out. And I said, I might be able to, but I don't want to. It was way too much work. And now there are tools out there that make it much easier. It does still take some time and effort, believe me. However, the beautiful thing is, it doesn't cost you more than just, you have to have the device. That's it. You have to have the device. And that's a one-time cost. And then you upload your channels, and you're not paying for traffic as if you were on Facebook ads or on YouTube ads. It's there. You're not paying for it. And listen to what Tom just said. How many thousands of people, what was it, 12,000 on day one?
No, I had 1,200 on the topic of public speaking. But I have other people that I know had 8,000 to 10,000.
Yeah.
Because their topic, you know, people don't go on TV and say, "Oh, I think I'm going to take some public speaking training." So it takes a little bit to get going with that channel. But still, I don't need as much traffic because I have a whole bunch of my own products to sell. But some people, you put a code on there, and ad agencies sell ads for you, and then you split the revenue with them.
Yes.
Okay? Now, there is one other cost involved, and that's you probably want to get a Vimeo Pro account to host the videos, because they don't do that for you. And if your channel takes off really big, that's the best bargain right now. And if it goes really big after that, well, you should be making enough money to up your hosting. But for $200 a year, Vimeo you can get hundreds of thousands of views for that amount.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's serving dual purpose. It's similar to YouTube. They've gone to a paid model, which keeps the ads out, which is awesome, and you have more control of the player now that you're paying for it, and you can repurpose it into Roku channels. It's amazing, and they don't have limits on the amount of bandwidth like others do that would cost you an arm and a leg. And I think Tom is inferring about those. They're more of the big players that are out there for when you need to expand. So phenomenal tips for those of you watching. Contact Tom. He will help you set up your channels, get going on Roku. I'm doing it myself. I am not as far as Tom is by any stretch. I actually went and watched his channel the other night. Thought, wow, this is awesome. It was like being there back when I first met you almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, I got lots of older speeches and training and how to be funny and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah, and the wonderful opening of cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Love that.
Right.
For those of you that don't know what that means, well, get on Roku. And what's your channel name? One more time?
The Public Speaking Channel.
The Public Speaking
Channel.
Perfect.
Or you can, if you happen to be on Amazon Fire, you can find it there too. I forget. It's a little harder to find on there because they have a bunch of different categories. But if you do Amazon Fire, I'm hosting on YouTube. And I don't know why YouTube's doing this, but all my hosting is free for the videos on Amazon.
Huh.
And on their remote, it's like a mini Alexa. You push a button and say, "Hey, play the Public Speaking Channel." And it's not listening full time like an Alexa, which a lot of people are afraid of that. But you just push the button and there it is.
Yeah, I just got my systems 3 or 4 days ago and went crazy on getting my channel set up. I'm one click away from publishing, but I was doing that. I was playing with the mic. And I did it in front of my wife. She's like, "How'd you do that?" But yeah, you have to press and hold on a mic button, and so it's not listening and getting ready to come and ransack your house.
Now, the Roku remote has a cool feature. You can plug a headphone into it. That's a really cool feature. So you have like a miniature wireless headphone and the remote right in your hand. So yeah, it's a new world out there, folks. And 27 million on Roku people and 30+ million as of January on Amazon. That's 50-some million people that I'm being exposed to, for pennies.
For pennies, exactly. Yeah. If you were to compare that to getting similar traffic on Facebook ads or any type of pay-per-click system, pennies.
Or even getting that many people to subscribe on YouTube, which is totally saturated. Now, again, I love YouTube for certain purposes, but this is a Wild West opportunity that you can really grab a lot of market share right away.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Man, we could just go on blabbing all night, and I think we will, because Tom said, so he's on the East Coast, so it's like 9 p.m. there right now, 9:05. I'm on the West Coast, so I can stay up as long as you want to, Tom.
I could go on forever. I mean, a lot of people, I don't know if your listeners have ever heard of Butt Camp, but I've got a Butt Camp coming up April 27th, and it's I came from a comic background, and so everybody started begging me to teach this internet stuff around in the late 90s, and they said, "You ought to have a boot camp." And I'm like, "Oh man, everybody has boot camp. I can't do that. I'm funny. I'm crazy." So I said, "I'm sitting here making all this money, sitting on my rear end. I'll call it Butt Camp." And I did, and it caught on, and it's one of the top 3 longest ever running. I think it's probably because the other ones fizzled off. Longest running internet seminar. It's got a goofy name, but it's very, very intensive on all this stuff that we do. And the only place, and I've done them in 11 countries, except in England they made me call it bum camp.
Oh, that's great. Well,
Yeah.
I hope you got the domain and you're good there.
Yeah. So we do it at my school in Virginia Beach, and then people buy the videos that can't come to Virginia Beach. So it's not one of these enormous seminars. We keep it small because I hate the logistics. I like to speak at other people's big events, but I don't like to set up all the stuff. So we keep it small and then just sell the videos around the world.
Yeah, and then your training is intense, and it's one-on-one because it's a smaller venue, smaller group of people. So they get, people get Tom. They get all of them. And, Tom is so diverse. I mean, you had a book out, I recall. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like 500,000 pages thick. It was
the ultimate guide. It was the ultimate guide to electronic marketing.
Yes.
And it was 1,042 pages, and I wrote the whole thing in airplanes and layovers, because I'm real big on your throwaway time. Don't waste time. Do something. Listen to your Audible. Learn. Move forward. And so I wrote that whole book there, and it went through 4 editions in 10 years before it got so big that there's a concept, and this is another one for folks out there, a relatively new concept in marketing called glanceable marketing. Glanceable. 1,042 pages, people is just overwhelmed with it. So now I've broken it down into a whole bunch of smaller ebooks. But glanceable means that you can instantly see something and get the idea. And it's very important on tablets and cell phones because they're small screen size. Are we okay? You look like you're stressed out.
I'm trying to figure out, how do you spell that?
Oh, glanceable?
Oh, with a G.
Yeah, glanceable. Like you can just glance real quick at it. So GLANCABLE or something like that. Okay. Glanceable marketing. Yeah. So
I looked like I was in pain, huh?
yeah. I was like, I thought, the stream quit or something. So that's important. But it's just a beautiful time to be in business. I mean, it's the best time ever. We have these tools. I mean, you can go to my website and leave me a voicemail. Just click on a button and just talk to my screen, and I'll get an email with your message, and I can hit a button and call you and give you a voicemail back. Wow. And you can start out free. I think the service is like $15 or something, called SpeakPipe, SPEAKPIPE. You might notice, folks, that you better have a pencil when I'm around, because I'm going to lay it on you. I don't like to just sit here and hear myself yap. I mean, I have fun doing this, but if you don't get anything out of it, I'm wasting your time and everybody's time. So that's not how I roll.
And that is Tom. That's how I remember you. I was telling you that before we went live, that Tom is one of the most integrity-based, authentic people I've ever met. They're just everything he does, even how he goes about selling at the back of the stage, which I'm not going to go into the details there. You just have to experience it. I hope, Tom, that someday you get back on stage so I can come and witness that mastery once again, because Tom is an absolute expert as a professional speaker. He's an absolute expert as an internet marketer, as a tennis player, a dog owner, and a jiu-jitsu artist, which that last part is probably not right, but he's some kind of self-defense.
Yeah.
The guy is amazing. I don't know how one person can have so much talent.
I told you, it's like you can live 2 or 3 lives. If you just, I told you I was a charter pilot too.
That's right.
I got bored. I had 5 apartment buildings and a hotel before I graduated college, starting with nothing. And then I got bored, and I said, I like to get my pilot's license. I got my pilot's license, became a charter pilot, which was more like a high-class chauffeur, basically. And did that for a while. And so it's just, like I said, the world is out there for you if you just grab it. Continuously improve yourself. Sell really high profit products like digital stuff that's available nowadays. I've been selling ebooks since 2001. 97% profit, folks. If you're interested in business, I mean, what business is 97% profit, right? You have online courses and membership sites, and all of these things are super high profit, recurring income. I wrote one ebook that's brought in $3.5 million in a 4-hour layover at McCarran Airport in Las Vegas, and it still brings in $8,000 to $10,000 a month after years and years and years. That's like $235,000 a year average for the past, I don't know, 15 years, which, you know, most people would say that's a rich man's salary right there. But this is all available to you if you just grab it. And it's not hocus pocus, but there are a lot of scammer artists out there, so you got to be careful who you deal with. But God, the tools are so powerful, Brian.
How many of you people
right now? Look what we're doing right now.
Exactly.
This is, I mean, you can't imagine all the technology that's making it easy so I can sit here and run my mouth, you know, and let him do all the work.
I'm so happy to do the work and let you run your mouth, because when you run your mouth, there's nothing but gold coming out. And how many of you watching, either live or on the recording, even on podcast later, or on Roku, how many of you would like to know how to do what Tom just described? I mean,
I think Brigitte does.
Yeah.
I said hi to Brigitte before we started
Brigitte,
here.
Yeah.
Is
Brigitte is
Brigitte?
amazing. She's another heart-centered.
She's not the one. We had a Brigitte in my self-defense class one time, but she beat the heck out of everybody. She was only she was about as big as a bar of soap, and she was mean.
Well, this Brigitte could probably do the same. She's very fit, very fit woman. An amazing mother and wife, and has a great family. But
Wow.
what you were just going through, I mean, it was like I'm back at the seminar. I'm leaning in. I'm interested. I want to know more. And please stick on to the end, because I want you all to have the ability to connect with Tom. He can't take all of you. There's no way. He's one person. But if you're a fit, and he makes sure that you're a fit before bringing you on, then maybe he can work with you. But you can't do it until I do that. I'm first.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm going to give you, I'm just going to give you a little teaser. It has to do with 7 million. And you can do what I'm going to tell you at the end when I give you my freebie, 7 million times. Wonder what that is, huh?
The open loop, the old NLP open loop. Or what used to be known in the commercial world as the Zeigarnik effect.
Zeigarnik effect
Yes.
is one of my favorites, yep.
So you probably know Mark Joyner. Do you remember that name?
Oh, Mark Joyner is a buddy of mine. He's going to be on my podcast, and you are too pretty soon.
Yes.
Mark Joyner is the only guy on earth that's been able to fake me out, like an email is personal to me directly from him, and I open it up. Oh, he got me again. You know, it's a broadcast. You know, but yeah, he's brilliant, and he's going to be on the podcast. Screw the commute, and so are you.
Yeah, he's known as the godfather of internet marketing. He's a psychological genius.
Yeah, he was I know a lot of people tease that it's an oxymoron, but Army intelligence was what he
right.
He was, yeah.
Yep, that's where he cut his teeth and all this stuff, and then he took it. And his stuff was so cutting edge. I got the Mark Joyner farewell package, it was called, and it was like
well, he quit for a while and disappeared to New Zealand or somewhere. I don't know.
And now he's back with Simpleology, right? And he's hitting that pretty good.
I spoke for him years and years ago. It was me and Ted Nicholas and Joe Sugarman. These are massive luminaries at the West. I think it was the Westin Hotel in Los Angeles, and a lot of people that saw me there, I got them started. You'd recognize their names. They were in the audience at the time, and but he's brilliant, really brilliant.
Alan Skidmore is in the house. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Big Al, what's going on, man?
Been way too long. Hey, you're close enough to Tom. You can just go there, give him a high five, man.
He's my West by God, Virginia buddy. You got to say by God if you say West Virginia. You know? I spent 13 years there, one decade or one millennium.
Oh man, gosh, this has been amazing. There's so much. So we're not.
Hi, Dawn. How are you? Nice to see you.
We're approaching 45 minutes, and we've got about an hour and
I didn't say
45
anything
to go.
yet. I didn't even get warmed up.
No, we're not even. We'll go as long as you want. Describe, outline. So I'm curious, and I think a lot of people watching are curious of someone who has achieved multimillionaire status. Now, those that are watching this might go, come on, look, the guy's in like a plaid shirt. How can he be a multimillionaire? It's because he can choose what the heck he wants to do, when he wants to do it, and he doesn't care what people think, and that's the way to go. That's the way everyone should want to live, is to make choices.
I'll couch that a little bit that I don't try to offend people, but if they do, you know, sometimes that happens. But the thing is I grew up very frugal.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad came on a cattle boat. In fact, that's one of the basis of the American Entrepreneur documentary. It's about me. I was picked as the American Entrepreneur, and based on my dad coming from Syria on a cattle boat into Ellis Island.
Wow.
And then becoming an entrepreneur, making me an entrepreneur, and I've helped thousands of entrepreneurs. And my name is like an accident, because he came from Antioch, Syria, and they named you from where you were born in the early 1900s. So he was Simon from Antioch when he hit Ellis Island. And they're like, they can't read it. They say, okay, you're Sam Antion. And
Wow.
that's how I got my name.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so he put the first electric light bulb in Carnegie, Pennsylvania. Talk about continuous learning. He was 10 years old, shining shoes in the barber shops, saving up his money to buy information products from the American school that was in the 1800s started. And he bought an electrical engineering course, put the first electric light bulb in Carnegie, Pennsylvania, and had an electrical contracting firm at 13 years old.
Wow.
So, I should show you. Excuse me. I'm gonna grab something to hold it up.
Yeah, and you became a chip off the old block.
You see this? Can you see that? All right.
Yep, we got it.
All right. Well, did you ever hear of Johnny Cash?
Yes.
All right. Well, Johnny Cash had a song called "A Boy Named Sue." And it was about an old drunk who figured he wouldn't be there to grow up his boy. And so he named him Sue, so the kid would be scrappy and get tough, you know, as a child. So my dad was 50 when he had me. And he thought that he wouldn't be there. And he had only went to the second grade education, but he was just brilliant. So this picture, when he tells me when I was a baby, he would put my toys on the other side of a pillow to teach me how to overcome obstacles. And to this day, I am unstoppable. Now, I won't cheat anybody or step on them to get where I'm going. But if you tell me I can't do something, what that means is that somebody that tells you that, folks, that means they can't do it. It has nothing to do with you at all. So he instilled that to me when I was a baby, crawling. And like I said, he only went to the second grade. And I remember when he retired at around this, and he was in his 70s, he sat down and read the entire World Book Encyclopedia, the 26-volume thing.
Wow.
So he was just brilliant. There's other stuff over here that it's too hard to show you here. But yeah, so when somebody tells you you can't do something or you're crazy, I mean, you know you're on the right track, and it just means they can't do it. And you need to hang around with better people that are more upbeat, that'll support what you're doing. You know, that's one of the downfalls that people have is they get people are jealous of them and they don't want them to succeed. They want them to stay down and watch football all day and get drunk and do that stuff. So you might have to hang around with some different people. Doesn't mean alienate all your friends. It just means that if you want to succeed, you have to do the steps that it takes to succeed.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic in its own right. I have fired some of my friends. I didn't go and say you're fired, but I would basically step back from them for that very reason. But you mentioned a couple of things about like watching TV, sitting around getting drunk all day. I'm very curious, and I'm sure others are too. What would be a description of a typical day in the life of Tom Antion? Like you get up, you start by doing a shower, you make sure the dogs don't pee on the floor.
I just stay in bed and eat bonbons all day. Like Peg from that Married with Children. So seriously, when I get up, my main concern is getting my act together in a hurry to get the dogs out, because I have a protection dog company. I have 2 German Shepherds that are up in the bedroom with me, and they can turn you into Swiss cheese in about 5 seconds. So the main thing is to get them taken care of, and then I don't really eat anything until noon. I've lost about 100 pounds, and I'm on a ketogenic lifestyle with intermittent fasting. So I don't eat after 8 o'clock at night all the way till noon the next day. But as soon as I get the dog squared away, I'm right into the computer. I'm checking email, checking overnight sales, but more than overnight sales, I'm interested in, are there any customers that are having any trouble? That's all I care about, because I'm a killer stickler for customer service. In fact, here's something else you can write down, folks. I actually wrote a book on this, which is kind of funny. It's my one-sentence business plan. One-sentence business plan. I wrote a whole book to tell you how to do the one sentence, right? But here it is, and I've lived this since I'm 10 years old, selling stuff door to door, matchbooks and advertising, and all the stuff I did as a kid. So here's my one-sentence business plan, and I swear if every company on earth would just live by this one sentence, they wouldn't have to pay $100,000 to pay a consultant for a mission statement. Right? Here's my one-sentence business plan. I create quality products that people actually want at a reasonable price, and I service the customer after the sale. That's it. Think about that. Right? That is just so simple. Quality products at a reasonable price that somebody actually wants, and I service them after the sale. So that's the way I've lived since I'm 10 years old, and that's why I don't have chargebacks on my credit card. I can't hardly remember how to do refunds because I go way overboard putting quality into the products at a reasonable price, so people don't want the refunds. The only time I get refunds is if they accidentally order twice, or I have a eulogy book that people are crying when they order it, and then they forget they ordered it 30 days from now. But if you just live a positive life and take care of people, you can make enormous wealth for yourself and sleep at night because you're taking care of people, and have a wonderful business and do all the hobbies that you like and spend the time with your family and, spend $50,000 on a freaking dog. So, if you want. All right. But yeah, it's just such a great time to be in business. I get so excited about helping people.
Yeah, I always say it's such a great time to be alive with technology today, and it's not just technology, but it is helping a lot. It's helping to bridge the gap from the major corporations to the entrepreneurs who have the skills, they have the mindset, they have the drive, and oftentimes it's just the bank account that's keeping them from taking that next step.
I would like to see people watch it a little bit with the young people with the technology, because they're great at it, but they're actually opening rehab centers because the kids, you see 4 of them sitting at a table at a restaurant and not one person said a word to anybody. They're sitting there looking here, they're getting neck strained, they're having to go to rehab because they're addicted to the stuff. So I don't really like that. But if you can find a balance for your young people, I think that would serve them in the long run. But still, for us, business-wise, these tools are unbelievably powerful.
Yeah, and going back to something you said a little earlier, so I teach and preach all the time, but one way to achieve success is to model success. And what I want to tell everyone watching and those that are listening is you have just found one person right now that if you modeled, which is a fancy word for copy, if you modeled Tom Antion, then your chances for success go through the roof. Because listen, this is one person I want everybody to model because of his integrity factor, his authenticity. I mean, what he talked about, that one sentence, that was like, for a lot of people, that you may as well have been speaking Chinese. What are you talking about? Quality. What are you talking about? Customer service. Because it's a lost art. And it's not even an art. It's just something you should always do. And now we're talking to someone, Tom Antion, who has proven that approach, that recipe, not only still works, but it works better than all of the other ways, which are shady and underhanded. And if you're not going to give them quality, and if you're not going to support them and service them, you shouldn't be doing it to begin with, in my personal opinion. And
if you do it, you're just going to send me all the money. So suit yourself.
or you might end up on one of Tom's scam sheets that pointing you out.
Yeah, I have a show in development in Hollywood called Scam Brigade, because I've always been what they call a sheepdog. I have the capability of being really tough if necessary. I don't try to be, and I don't go looking for trouble, but I'm a sheepdog. You know, I take care of people, and I saw so many people getting robbed in the seminar business, so I decided to do something about it. So you can see the trailer for that at scambrigade.com, but it's a big Hollywood production company, and they said, Tom, we love the show. Don't quit your day job. So they're trying to sell it, but I don't, you know, who knows? It's Hollywood, you know.
Oh, man. I love it, love it, love it. Oh, my goodness. We're getting close to the end. I'm going to ask a couple more, though, because they just have to know. You've kind of alluded to a lot of things, but I was wondering if you could put it in words. You have been successful for a very, very long time. I mean, at least 10 years that I've known you. And that's a long time. That's like a half of a lifetime to many watching, maybe a third.
Actually been in business 42 years formally, and then since I was 10 years old. Yeah, I'm actually going to be 64 this summer, and
What?
I know you can't believe it with my baby face here, but
Wow.
that's what happens when you aren't, you know, letting somebody else, your boss, stress you out. You know, and you know what boss spells backwards, right? Double SOB. That's what they're doing.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
For those, so you've achieved. Many people just want to achieve short-term success, but I think that's the wrong attitude and approach. Is to look at the long term, because it'll be sustainable and you can continue with it. It's like winning the lottery. That's short-term, and most people self-sabotage and lose all that money.
And by the way, I've never bought a lottery ticket ever.
Yeah, why? You have that in front of you. It's called a computer, and it's not a lottery. It's a guarantee. What would you say to those listening is the best way to achieve long-term success if you were to give it a description?
Persistence. It's hard to come by nowadays because of the generations have been getting softer as the parents want to give them everything. So you're not doing your kids any favors by making stuff too easy for them, because when they get in the real world, it's too easy for them to quit. In fact, an example of this is I was probably 50 years old, a big fat guy on the tennis court, and we'd pick up games at the tennis courts. And I think it was 14 or 15 years old, and he was on the tennis team, and he's like, come on, I'll hit some with you. And I'm like tearing him to pieces, and he's getting really mad. He slams his racket down, walks off the court, and his mother's chasing him. Oh, Joey, it's okay, it's okay. If I'd have done that when I was a kid, I'd be running laps till I'm 40 years old. All right. So true. You know, he wasn't persistent to say, hey, this shouldn't be happening. What can I learn from this old guy that I could use to beat my friends? No, he just left. So persistence is something that you could, if you really instill it in your kids, is going to take them a long way. And consistency. I mean, people know what to expect from me. I mean, you haven't talked to me for years, but you knew what to expect from me. You knew I was going to be on time. I was going to do a good show for you. You know, you just know that because you know my reputation. So that's what you want, folks, is you want people to say, wow, I know what to expect from that person. And then they won't go looking for the magic bullets all the time. If it's iffy over here and they can depend on you, you'll get the business, see? So persistency and consistency. And then the other thing is frugality. And that's not being cheap, because I am not cheap by any sense of the imagination. But I'm frugal. I don't throw money away. In fact, I grew up, Brian, in this 2-horse town. I mean, there's 500 people in my hometown, Claysville, Pennsylvania. You can look it up on a map. There's still 500 people there. And it's named after Henry Clay, the statesman. I mean, he didn't really sleep there or anything. His horse took a dump there on the way through, and that was good enough for us. You know? And we lived in the suburbs, so we're totally in the sticks, right? So I had already made it pretty big, and I'm coming home in this big Mercedes sedan when I lived up in D.C. to take my mother around, and she always wanted to go to the thrift stores. So I drive up to this big thrift store, pull up in this big Mercedes, and my mother is in there arguing with the lady. She wants this blouse for 15 cents because it had a stain instead of, it was listed at 25 cents. Wow. So that's where I grew up, is my dad, you don't waste things. We had he'd buy used lumber and make us straighten the nails out, knock them out, and use the nails over again. And we had 13 wells on our property. And to this day, I can't let the water run while I'm brushing my teeth. because I hear my dad, don't waste things, don't waste water. Yeah. So people were, come up to you and say, oh, well, you need to spend 10,000 on a website. And they said, well, I guess we need it. No, we teach you how to do world-class websites for $150. All right. I beat out three. This really made a lot of CEOs mad. I had a website at the time. It cost $650. Now it would cost $150. And it beat out Inc. magazine had a best of the web thing. And these CEOs picked my site out of all these $1 million sites. They said, well, it was easy to get around and we could find what we wanted fast. And I beat out $1 million sites with my $600 site. So this is what I'm talking about. Not cheap. You want things to represent you well professionally, but frugal. Don't throw stuff away. And the frugal goes with knowledge. So the more knowledge you can get, not enough to be dangerous, like a lot of people come to me and say, trying to tell me web stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, God help you. But if you get the deeper knowledge, you can do this stuff for pennies. I'm serious. And you can reach and have around the world with this stuff. So persistency, consistency, frugality, and knowledge is my my bottom line on that. Don't leave me here.
I'm not leaving.
I see you leaving.
I'm taking notes. Taking notes. That's my secret weapon. I'll hit a key to put you on camera, and then I can go take notes and no one knows, and then I come back.
Oh, okay. So they don't see what I'm seeing. Then.
Yeah, so
okay.
That's right. That's right. Not everything
you
that
know
you
all
see.
this tech stuff. I'm
if
just
only they knew, right? Okay, so we're getting down to it. I want to respect your time, Tom, and everyone who's watching and listening as well. There is one final question, though, that I must ask, because I asked every previous guest on this show the same question.
So I'm not special, is that what you're saying?
Well, the cool thing is your answer will be special.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because it's something that I found very curious in asking this question. It was kind of a heavy hitter. If it takes you a moment, that's fine. Dead air time is...
Am I going to tear up or anything?
Only if it takes you there. I mean, it's not the intent. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But it's a good one. I almost forgot. I got to remind the folks watching right now live, I promised, that you can now... Let's do this now. You can now enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort in Mexico. And all you have to do is follow the instructions on the screen. And that is, you can do it in 2 ways. Highly recommend the second, which is text the word peak to the number 661-535-1624. Again, that's peak, P-E-A-K, to 661-535-1624. That's something you can do, and I recommend you do right now as you're watching this. If you're watching on your phone, open a new tab on the browser and or just open your chat or your text. See, the kids, they know what to say. The messaging app right now, and then you can flip back to the this. And then the other way is to go on the internet on your web browser and type in reachyourpeakllc.com/vacation. That's reachyourpeakllc.com/vacation. Just enter your information there. I will receive that personally and choose a winner. You could be the next person going to Mexico for a free 5-night vacation stay. And I also want to throw out another gift, if I may. I'm also known as an automation master. Not my words, not my words. Thank you, Brigitte, who is on now. She coined that. And I like to give away things. And so if you want to learn how to automate your business and scale it, I'm not going to go deep into this. Just go to the website you see on the screen. It's a shortened URL. It's RYP, stands for Reach Your Peak, ryp.im/automation. Go ahead and go there. You just opt in. You'll get the list instantly through email. And then a little bird told me that there's a guy on this show right now that also had a gift that he was very eager to impart upon everyone. So, Tom, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and take it away.
It's the same idea, and you probably have a different set of tools and things than I have, but this is an ebook that we sell for $27. And when I said 7 million, just one of the tips in here, we figured it out about 2 years ago, so it's probably way more than 7 million. Has saved me 7 million keystrokes since I've been online. 7 million.
I know.
That's just one of them. We got all the stuff we use in my business. I've had as many as 150,000 subscribers, 40,000 customers. And the only time I started hiring a lot of people was when the accountant called me and said, hey, Tom, you have too much retained earnings. I said, what? what do you mean? I said, I've been keeping my nose clean and I got to pay more taxes. He said, yeah, that's right. So I started hiring people. I mean, I had one temp person to run this place to get the 1.2 million a year years ago and stuff. So this is a book that shows all the tools that I use, all the tricks of the trade with my email signatures and all kinds of stuff like that. And it's got tips for your cell phone. I mean, a lot of times you think, oh, well, I can just talk. Well, no, in certain places you can't talk into your cell phone. But there's automation tricks that you can send the whole message just by a couple keystrokes. So the whole book is like that. So you can get that by going to screwthecommute.com, screwthecommute.com/automate free. Screwthecommute.com/automate free. I got about a 30-second little message there for you that you can listen to, and then you can download the ebook there, and you'll be reading it and saving yourself time in no time flat. While you're over there, you might as well subscribe to my podcast. It's screwthecommute.com. We've got over 100 episodes now and really great reviews on iTunes.
Yeah, phenomenal. Thank you so much. And there it is. There's that voice message. You can send Tom a nice voice message as well.
No, that's not. That's just a little message to them. But on the home page, oh yeah, at the bottom, you're right. Yeah. That yellow box. Right. You can just say hello, how are you, and I'll respond to you. Correct.
Thank you so much for that gift. I was trying to get over to type in the URL on Facebook, and I realized I'm sharing that screen, so that was not good form. Okay. So let's switch it back, and then I will share that.
.com/automate free.
Fantastic. So that's up on Facebook Live on my profile for those of you watching and listening. That's at Brian Carl Kelly if you're going to a Facebook profile. I've typed it in, so all you have to do is click on the link. So great free resource. Thank you for that, Tom. Appreciate that. And now, drum roll for that big question.
Oh yeah.
And this one's 9 million. No, I'm kidding. It's it's kind of, it's one of those questions I've asked every guest expert before you. And the interesting thing is, to date, up until now, not two people have answered it in the same exact way. And that's a good thing. I predict that will not last forever, that at some point there will be a duplication. But until this point, that has not happened. And so that kind of takes any pressure off if you're feeling any. I mean, Tom's a pro. He doesn't feel pressure. He's like, give it to me. Bring it on. The other thing is, so there is no such thing as a wrong answer. That's my whole point. It's just the opposite. The only correct answer is your answer. There's no other correct answer because this is what it means to you. So, are you ready, Tom?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. Tom Antion.
Let me get loosened up. All right, go ahead.
Tom Antion, how do you define success?
How do I define success? Success to me is I was put on this earth to help people. And so every single time I help somebody, if it's a quick call to somebody screwed up their email, to somebody is having some other kind of trouble, like for instance, there's people staying with me right now that lost a premature baby. So if I can help them, that's success. So pretty much it's all based on success. It's me continuously helping somebody do something that they need help with, that I was built strong, and went to a physical, and the guy said, you should have been a Clydesdale horse. He says, I got people half your age falling apart. So I got the good genes from my dad, and it was pretty much that success to me is I'm always helping somebody. There it is.
Wow. And true to form, it wasn't exactly like anyone else said, and it's similar to some, but here's what I love about what I get to do with this show and bringing on amazing people like you, Tom, and that is, to a person, not a single one, including yourself, used money in any part of their response. Isn't that interesting? I think it's because the caliber of people that are coming on this show are those that care about, and it's always, the theme is usually about helping others. It's always in there. It's always part of it. either prominent or under the, you could just hear it as they're talking, or they'll actually say it as part of their lengthier explanation of success. And so that's the wonderful thing. I get to know someone really deep. I already knew you, and this does not surprise me in the least. It really shows the true essence of a person when you ask that question. And I've asked it now numerous times, and I'll go back and compile a book of these answers of today's top entrepreneurs and get your permission to include you if you're okay with that. I don't think Tom wants more exposure. That's not what he does. I'm kidding. But thank you for that. That was from the heart. And I would be remiss if I did not allow people to understand or know the best way to get in touch with you, to maybe strike up a conversation and say, hey, I want to learn about all the stuff you talked about on this show.
Okay.
Can you please help me?
Yeah, the simple place to go is screwthecommute.com. And there's a resource page there that has all my products, my free webinars, lots of free stuff there, paid stuff. And you can contact me through the voicemail there or send me an email. That's a good repository for everything. I have hundreds of sites, but that's the one that's the latest, greatest to get you everywhere. Screwthecommute.com. You can listen to the podcast. You can get our podcast app, screwthecommute.com/app, and it makes it really easy to take us with you on the road on your cell phone and tablet. And yeah, leave me a voicemail there. I'd love to hear from you.
Okay.
Except Alan Skidmore. No, you can just skip it. No, I'm kidding. He's a buddy of mine.
Alan's awesome. Okay, there's one. So either put it in that opt-in form or send a voicemail at the bottom, which is barely visible to those watching.
Well, they can go to up in the top, the podcast section, and listen to podcasts, and they can subscribe on iTunes, and we have all the major places have Screw the Commute, and you can go to the resource page, and I don't think you can see it, but there's a little blue thing at the bottom that says leave me a voicemail.
Yeah, in the very lower right, there it came in a little bit better, but send voicemail.
Yeah.
Just click on that.
And then you can get the free automate book, so screwthecommute.com/automate free. Yeah, that's how you leave the voicemail. You just click on it, and you got up to 3 minutes to leave me a message. And if you cuss me out, it only gives you 2 minutes.
Sweet. Hey, Tom, great show. I love you, brother. Let's do it again sometime soon. I hope you don't delete this voicemail.
That'll come to my email right now.
This is Alan Skidmore. Just kidding. All right, and send your email. Oh, okay. Sweet. And so just enter your name and send your email there and let her rip.
Yeah, I'll get an email with a link to listen to you right away, and I can hit my email and respond to you right back.
We don't mess around. We do it live.
There you go.
I love it. Tom, man, I got to tell you, thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy to take out over an hour and a half, actually an hour and 45 now because we went over, but I'm not on any clock.
I'm hoping people let me know that what they heard here, they went and tried it, helped them. They get their business plan going. I'm good.
I know for a fact it helped me, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the future very, very, very soon, as we talked a little bit in the beginning. For those of you watching, reach out, connect to Tom. You see what you see and hear right now is what you get. This is the way he is every time I've ever seen him, whether he's on stage in front of a crowd, or he's in the back of the room, or he's in a closed door room. He's the same person in all three scenarios. So true, wonderful, warm-hearted, loves to help people. You just heard it. That's his definition of success. It's amazing. Tom, thank you so much once again, and can't wait to see what the future holds working with you, my friend. I cannot believe you're 10 years my senior. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm 64 going on 12.
That's the definition of success right there.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, well, that's it for this show. I can't wait to see you all again on the next episode. Until then, everyone, on behalf of Tom Antion, the one, the only, be blessed, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye now.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind Body Business Show with Brian Kelly.